What's up, tubers? T.O. here, Simplistic Fishing, coming back at you tonight to do another lake breakdown for you. This time we're going to go to a small pond here in northwest Texas. I guess that's what I'm going to call it. It's not really that far west, but it is west, so we're going to call it northwest, and that is Lake Daniel. Let's go jump into this thing and see what it has to offer. You know, we really don't even need the Navionics web app to cover this because the lake comes down so much, but we found a lot of good stuff on Lake Daniel that I think you're going to want to go try out. Let's go check it out. Like we always do before we jump into any type of the Texas lake breakdowns, we always go out to the Texas Park and Wildlife page to see what kind of information we can find out about the lake. So in this case, we're going to break down Lake Daniel. The location is on Gonzales Creek in Stevens County, 65 miles northeast of Abilene and about 10 miles south of Breckenridge. You can see it's a pretty small lake. Surface acres is only 950 acres. Maximum depth is 42 feet, which that kind of surprises me because I think when you see this from the Google Earth side, this thing almost was completely dry back in the 2015 image. It was impounded in 1948. The water conditions, you can see the pool elevation there, 1,278. Fluctuation is moderate, sometimes prone to long periods of dropping water levels. Usually when you see that, that usually means that the fishing's not that great, but I don't think that's the case in this lake. I think maybe because you've got so much depth there at 42 feet that the fish can still pull back to those rock piles and stuff like that and still be able to survive. But a lot of times you see that and that makes fishing kind of tough. But you're going to see here in a minute when I show you the lake record on that. On this lake, it's definitely no joke. It's definitely a place where we want to go fish for sure. So here we got the Reservoir Control and Authority. Well, we got aquatic vegetation. I didn't see any hydrilla or anything like that in this lake from the Google Earth side. We did have a lot of water willows, or not water willows, but those willow bushes and stuff like that. So we'll talk about that as we go through here. But here we go. Predominant fish species, largemouth bass, catfish, and crappie. But when you go and you look at the lake records, the largemouth bass here, 15.66 pounds, 25 inches. It was caught on March 18th of 2022 by Mike. I'm not even going to try to say his last name. So anyways, awesome. That means there's some really good fishing in here. And when we go back and we look here at the angling opportunities, it also shows bass fishing being good, catfish, crappie, all those are good, and sunfish being fair. And then if you look a little bit more down this page before we switch over to the Google Earth side, fishing and cover and structure. So this lake's a little bit difficult to break down because there's really not much on this lake. But what there is seems to be somewhat isolated, so I think that you'll be able to take advantage of that stuff. But as we read here in their comments, Lake Daniel offers a variety of fishing cover, including black willow trees, which is what I was talking to you about earlier, button brush, lily pads, floating leaf pondweed, and rocky structure. Cover in the reservoir is primarily limited to brush piles and rocks when the water is low, and so that's what we're going to try to uncover as we switch over here and go over to Google Earth. Now here we are using Google Earth taking a look at Lake Daniel, and this one's going to be pretty interesting, but there's not a ton of stuff that we really uncovered here from the Google Earth side, but you can see here that we really were able to see those creek channels really well, and then we've got a lot of different like rock, a little bit of debris, some culverts and things like that to look at. If we look over here at the left-hand side, you'll see how I have it organized. First off, we've got the channels. That's going to be these tracks that you see here, these green tracks. It's marking exactly where that channel is, and obviously if you're a bass fisherman or you know anything about bass fishing, or if you've watched any of my videos before, I pay very close attention to creek channels, and I think everybody does that's in the bass fishing industry. And so when you see big creek channel turns and creek channels getting out here closer towards Main Lake and all that good stuff, it's definitely something that catches our attention. And a really good way to catch fish is to get up on the bends and the turns of these creek channels. Right in there looks like a really, really good spot just based on how it turns in right into that point, or even over here where it gets close to the point. There's all kinds of good stuff back in here. So lots of good stuff to take a look at there. We'll kind of dive into some of that stuff here in just a little bit. We also have ramps. These are the 3 ramps that we had over here. I didn't see anything else on this lake. Pretty small lake, as we mentioned before. And then last but not least, we have cover, whether it be creek channel swings, debris, rock, culvert, just whatever is out there, we'll take a look at. So let's go ahead and take this view off. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the history bar and I'm going to draw this back to 2015. About, I think January 2015 gives me the best image. So let's just start. I guess really, since we don't have to worry about starting the dam, working our way across, let's just start here at these creek channels. So you can see here, these are the 3 main, or really one, I guess it's 3. Is it 2 different creeks here? Yeah, 2 different creeks. So 3 different creeks kind of coming in to the lake here. These are on a giant flat, obviously in the back. We've kind of marked these. These over here, this one doesn't look nearly as good. Of course, I say that, watch, this will be the best one. But this one doesn't look as good as this one over here does. This one looks a lot more defined. You know, you could flip around that buckbrush and stuff that's in there. Real good turns in here and things like that. So some pretty good looking channels that are over there. Now, when we're looking at this side, just a couple things to point out here. One is there's some debris down in here. So if I zoom in here, you'll see it right where it says debris. Looks like it might be an old foundation or something. I'm not sure what it is, but definitely something to go check out. Something that's different in the area for sure. And then as we move up a little bit further, you can vaguely see it on Google Earth, but there is like an old roadbed that's running right through here. And it looks like it went up and then it turned left here where I have that rock symbol. So I'll show you where I've got the rocks here. And then again, you can kind of see it. It's almost washed out, but it gets a little bit heavier right in here where I put the rocks. You can see you can kind of see the line of rock that's going right through this giant flat that's back here. So that's definitely something I'd check out too. And then up here, you've got an old roadbed that's up here and a culvert. This is really shallow. If we move it up to 2019, you know, we're good. If we go up to 2023, which most of our lakes are down right now, and this is probably when they were down as well in April, you can see that it was totally uncovered. So lake definitely does some fluctuation for sure. I'm going to draw it back to 2015. And we're going to keep going and see what else we can find. This main line right here, right? This whole bank line is going to be really good from a rocky standpoint. Lots of good cover here for you to fish around. You've also got this little point that's over here that kind of comes out. Some interesting stuff going on there. Definitely an area that I would pay attention to. And then don't forget about all this brush that's down here. This stuff can be very magical in some of our Texas lakes, so you do not want to overlook that. That's the giants like to hang out and stuff like that. There's also another good pocket of that, willow bushes or whatever you want to call them, another good pocket of them down here at the corner of the dam. So you'd want to check that out. There's a little bit more rock out here on the side over here. And then really, you know, the dam's definitely going to be good, especially with all this fluctuation that you're seeing from the water. This is going to be the deepest place, the safest place for them. There's going to be definitely some activity down here around the dam. So definitely fishing around the dam, but also in this area here, notice it's a little bit different. The rest of the dam looks to break off, but you've got like this little shelf that's right in this little area. And sometimes those can be really good areas to fish around, especially the corners of these types of things. Then while we're there, let's go ahead and pull out. Let's look at the main lake here. And as we come out here, you can see there's a nice hump that's out here with some exposed rock. Of course, if the water's back to normal pool, you're not going to know this stuff is out here, but you've got this hump that's out here. You've also got a little secondary hump that's out here as well, showing that it's got some rock on it too. Awesome, awesome offshore spots right there. Moving back here, of course, the corner of the dam, that just looks all kinds of juicy, all this good rock right in here, especially right in there. Really like all of that. And then moving over here, we've got the ramps, a little bit of rock beside that ramp there. If you move over here, it's kind of scattered everywhere, but these are kind of like little rocky points. These look like it could be a little productive areas. Over here, you start getting a little bit more of that brush going down this bank line. You've got a boat ramp here as well that you could look at. But the best point, I think, looked to be like this point right in here. This just looks like it could be really productive. It's fairly close to the boat ramp too, so that's cool. It's got some buckbrush back here in this little cutout. Just some pretty good stuff going on in there. This area in here just looked pretty good. So I'm going to pull down here and let's just look at everything in this area. So first off, the left-hand side of the boat ramp, just got a little bit of scattered rock. Nothing too impressive there. I do really like this spot right here where the rock comes out off this kind of looks like a little point that comes out maybe and has some rocky tops on top of the point. Again, it doesn't look like much here because the water's so far down, but if we pull the water up, it's 2016, 2017, you're not gonna have any idea that that stuff is out there. So it's definitely gonna come into play. We've also got, I didn't even realize that last time, there's a little area back in there, but that might just be way too shallow. Coming up in here, a little bit more rock back in here that I just pointed out. That one's not too crazy, but I do like this one. This really just this whole area, this rocky area right in here. And then if we get out a little bit off the bank line, when we get over here, it's like somebody's placed 3 little rock piles out here, or debris piles. They're rock, but some of them look like they might have some debris on them too. But you've got 3 of them right here and a pinpoint at each one of them. What's crazy is this almost looks like an arrow that's saying, hey, look right here. Look at these 3 spots. They look juicy. You've also got some rock out here too. And then as we swing over here, we've got a little rock pile here, just kind of out by itself, a little hard spot. So you could check that out. And then we're going to get over here to the island. That's going to kind of finish this up. So on the island, really, I just wanted to mark out the hard spots that were around the island. So you can see here, the tips here definitely have some good rock around them. We've also got good rock up here too, a nice little point. Might have some brush around there too. Then it kind of dies off again, right? And then it comes right back to it and gets back to a little rocky spot. And that kind of continues all the way down to here. But these 3 little points here would definitely be high percentage areas to go take a look at. And then we get down here and we get by this river channel. And there's just some key things here. One, you've got a river channel swing right here. You can see the indention from it on the bank line. So this is going to be a pretty hot area as well. And then if you move on back, of course, I told you about those river channel swings and the bends. This looks like a good bend right in here. It's got some good brush around it as well. That could be a good bend. This one looks really juicy. You can see it swings up against the point here, causes all of that rock. And then over here on this swing, the outside looks decent. The inside little hump there looks really good too. The little flat, where it swings around. So definitely some good places to look. And then you can just kind of follow that back and follow some of those swings. There's plenty of brush and stuff all along that creek channel. So guys, I hope that helps you out. Hopefully you'll go out there and be one of those people that catches a 15-pounder. I would love to see that for sure. Anyways, go check out our website, simplisticfishing.com. We have all these waypoints out there for you to review, to actually get on. You can buy them for them, and you can get them on a card, an SD card, plug that into your graph, and you'll have all these when you're out there on the water. Not only do we have Lake Daniel, but we have over 190 other lakes across pretty much the South. We've got Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, ton of lakes in Texas. That's where we originated. And then we've got Oklahoma as well, and probably plenty more that I'm forgetting. Tennessee, Kentucky, there's a bunch of them out there. But go check it out, simplisticfishing.com. And until next time, I hope you catch your PB. Take it easy.